First story. OP gave her parents an ultimatum after they refused to tell her why they were divorcing. The truth is devastating. So, my 14-year-old family totally exploded while I was on spring break 2 weeks ago. I went on a trip with my grandparents and came back to my mom, who moved out, and had a serious sit-down talk about them divorcing. It's not exactly a surprise because they've both been acting weird and shady for a while. But that's not what I was expecting to come back to. And they could have let me unpack first at least. They asked me if I had any questions, and I asked them which one cheated because that was my first thought. They got super uncomfortable and said that the reasons between them were private. I said not when it meant I suddenly lost my family over it. And they owe me at least some reason that this is happening. And we don't love each other anymore doesn't cut it. You don't just stop loving someone for no reason. That's dumb. So what? They said that was all I needed to know, and we needed to talk about how the living situation was going to work and everything. I told them that I don't want to live with either of them if they're going to be like that. Everyone has been mad since then, and my mom came over to talk it out last night. They still don't want to tell me why. I told them both that if they were going to hide stuff, I'd just make up my own worst case and go with that. Since mom left, it can all be her fault. Since it's her fault, I won't live with her or go see her. She got upset and said that was unfair, and it wasn't her fault. I told her to give me the real reason then or just deal with it. My dad said I was out of line, and I said that it could all be his fault, and the same deal. That started an argument between the two of them. But I'm holding my own. I'm pretty sure at least one of them will crack and tell me what happened soon so I can decide how I feel about it. I don't need graphic details, but a simple someone cheated, or mom is a secret lesbian, don't tell anyone, or we've both really changed a lot and don't want the same things would help. If one of them did something bad, I want to know. If they won't own up or explain why there are no bad guys, they can both be bad guys. I had to talk to my school counselor today, and she said that it's totally understandable, but playing them against each other is going to hurt everyone. So Ada, in the comments, YTA. But you're clearly just a kid who desperately needs therapy to process and understand this and navigate what it means. Your parents are doing a great job handling the divorce thus far, so I hope they continue to do great and get you into therapy ASAP. If they're on top of things, they were looking into this before they even announced their divorce. OP. We already have to go see someone all together this week. And I told them I'm not saying anything to the counselor because I didn't mess this up. They did, so they need the counseling, not me. I don't have any other questions. If they can't answer this one, then I can't trust either of them, so nothing else matters. I don't want a relationship with them if one of them does something bad to the other. If they both caused it, I want to go live with my grandma instead of either of them. I can't trust people who act shady and hide important things. 10,000% cool with torching relationships with people who lie and hide things from me. If my mom is a lesbian, that's completely fair. I'd want to know why she stayed married for 20 years, but that's not anyone's fault. If my dad fell out of love with my mom, I'd want to know why. Yeah, I'm going to have some side effects for that because it's a little bit of a douchebag move after wasting 20 years of someone's life and getting me mixed up in it. But as long as he hasn't been running around with other people behind her back, that's not unreasonable. I'm not going to be happy with either of them now anyway because I know they're hiding something, and that's not okay. Even if it's nobody's fault, they could say that instead of answering, the only reason to hide is if there's something worth hiding. If I'm going to go through the suckers, no matter what, I'm taking them with me. If they gave me some indication of why they fell out of love, sure. We fell out of love because we're super different now than when we got married. We fell out of love because we have really different values and can't agree. We fell out of love because we just really hated living together. We fell out of love because we hurt one another too badly to keep going. All those would be fine. I'm not stupid because I'm 14. There's always a reason people stop liking each other, even if it's dumb. It's a reason. I don't have to know everything, but I need a general direction. If my dad really hurt my mom enough to make her have to leave, I will eat him alive. If my mom hurt my dad enough to kick her out. If it's just normal bullshit, then they can tell me that and leave me out of it, and I'll figure out what I want to do later. From what I've found, they planned the move out for more than a month. This wasn't a last-minute thing. My mom's apartment was rented 3 months ago. I have the entire email chain about it between her and her new landlord, and another set of DMs about it between her and her parents, setting up the trip to get me out of town for the move. My grandparents also lied for the entire trip to keep up the lie. My dad has lied about his job on multiple occasions, and I have the Expedia receipts and text to prove it. Also, it looks very much like they're both cheaters. I'm just researching the timeline and partners now and finding additional supporting evidence, so they can't claim it's not true. Right now, they can come clean that they both messed up massively, and we can figure out if I can trust them again or say good riddance to the trash. On her grandparents lying to her. I asked them if my parents were thinking about divorcing during the trip, because there was definitely a vibe before I left. They knew about the divorce. They set my mom up with her lawyer. They told me that nobody was getting a divorce and to relax. They have less culpability than my parents, because it doesn't look like they know why my parents are splitting up so far. If they apologize, I'll probably accept it. If they don't, we'll see what happens. About how she found her parents' secrets. I fix my parents' stuff a lot, so I know they both use the same couple of passwords for everything, and they don't tech well. My dad was drunk and asleep on the couch last night, because he has been a lot lately. My mom doesn't live here anymore. I just had to look up a few things, copy off some stuff, and put the tablet back before continuing on my own machine. It's not fancy or techy, but it was enough to find out what I wanted to know. Judgment. Arsehole. Edit. Okay, That's okay. I did some digging on my own tonight, and I know pretty much what happened now. I don't feel bad about being an to Oz. Thanks. Edit 2. People keep asking me what happened. Both my parents are cheaters. My mom is stalking her boyfriend and his wife and trying to break up their marriage. My dad is screwing one of his 17-year-old athletes and other people. I got the receipts and got help reporting the 17-year-old thing, because that is not even remotely okay. It crashed and burned on him on Friday, and I haven't heard from him since then. I worked out stuff with my grandparents, and they believe me that my mom is lying to them. I'm living with them right now, and they're figuring things out with my other grandma to make a permanent plan. My mom is mad that I wouldn't go to her place after the blow-up, but I've already told her that I don't want to talk to her for a while. The cops said I could stay where I am at the moment. That's where we are now. It sucks, but it would be worse if I didn't know and had to keep on living with them with all this crap going on. I'm glad I didn't listen to some people here and just let it drop. I'm glad to know that all the weird stuff I've noticed over the last year was real and not made up like my parents told me. I'm glad my dad isn't going to be able to be gross toward his players anymore. I'm okay with being here just for that reason alone. Updates and thoughts. This is more of an exercise for me so that I can get my thoughts straight before I make some decisions. If you're here to ask me about being an from my Ada post, today is not the day, and I am not the one. I accept the judgment. I just don't feel bad about it now. If you can be cool with your feedback, I'm open to that. I do listen and turn over reasonable advice, but I've had a stressful week, so constructive replies only please. I won't be humoring aggressive trolls. To bring everything up to date, family therapy was a fiasco. I told the counselor that I didn't want to participate and would rather stay in the lobby. After she tried to convince me to stay in the room, she let me go back out. My parents told me I would be grounded if I didn't stay. The therapist talked to them alone for a while, and then we left. I am not grounded. They are big mad. I still have to go with them weekly, but I don't have to stay in the room. I have to go to an individual counselor next week, and I'll see what happens when I refuse treatment. Hopefully, I won't have to go back. I've decided to keep the contents of the dossier I gathered closed for now, until I can weigh a couple of points of moral conflict. There are illegal things going on, but busting them open could hurt people who don't deserve it. It might keep some other people from getting hurt though. Depending on how my parents react, there's not a 0 chance it could get me physically hurt, unless I can do it in a way that's out of reach. I want to have private, in-person conversations with all my grandparents and maybe my rabbi first. My mom cracked last night like I thought she would, but only admitted to my dad cheating. I am so done with both of them. I was going to spend a month with each set of grandparents, this summer anyway, so my parents agreed to just let my home base be with my grandma until the fall. I'll go once my exams are done. At least my grandma is happy. I talked to my other grandparents after Shabbat dinner and told them that I knew they lied to me. They apologized, and we talked. I'm sleeping over with them this weekend, and we'll have some things out tomorrow. I feel like something I've learned this week is that some people really get mad when I resist being controlled. Being a good kid and doing what everyone has always told me are the right things doesn't matter, unless I shut up and do what I'm told. I'm not going to stop doing good, but I feel pretty done with shutting up and obeying. A lot of people said I would regret knowing the truth. I don't. Happy isn't the word. I'm tired, really disappointed and angry. Now I know who I'm dealing with, and I feel better knowing that I wasn't imagining things like my parents said. The OP leaves a recap in a comment. Short version. 1. Both my parents are cheating. Both are angry at each other over it. It wasn't an open situation. They just cheated. 2. My dad bullied one of his partners into an abortion last year. One of the people he's cheating with is under 18. He's doing stuff that's going to get him on some kind of list, and probably jail if he gets caught. 3. My mom is trying to break up her boyfriend's marriage because she thinks he'll move in with her then. She's done some really sad and crazy stalker things, and it's scary. She cracked like I thought she would, but only told me my dad cheated. 4. They tried to force me to participate in family therapy and threatened to ground me for the entire summer if I didn't. The therapist let me sit in the lobby while they talked, and I think she talked them out of it. I have to go to the place with them, but I don't have to sit in the session if I don't want to. 5. I talked to my grandparents about lying to me during the trip that no divorce was coming, and they apologized and said that they realize now that it wasn't the best approach, so we're cool. 6. I'm going to spend the next few weekends and summers with my grandparents. I don't even want to look at my parents. Basically, all the sneaking around, fighting, and shady shit I noticed was real, and they've been lying to me for nearly 2 years. 7. Now I have to decide whether to outsource them or not because really bad shit is going on. The plan at present is to talk with my rabbi about the ethics involved, and then tell someone who can do something at least about the underage girl. The rest of it is shitty, but that's the part that really needs to be stopped right now, I think. Update on our legal advice. A legal question about anonymously reporting a crime. For the record, I'm under 18, so I'm sure that affects what I can and can't do here. This is something that needs to be handled by adults, but I would be reporting on a family member, so I need to protect myself from the fallout. A close adult family member is having sex with a minor. Not like a few-year age difference thing like decades. I know the right thing to do would be to report it, but I need to do it anonymously. I found out from texts that I have screenshots of. Is there a way that I can get this information to the appropriate authorities without being identified? Would they even do anything with anonymously sent screenshots? How likely is it to be tracked back to me once it's in the open? Thanks in advance. Edit. The minor is 17, and this is in location removed. The older person is 17's coach. In the comments, location removes age of consent is 18, meaning this sexual relationship wouldn't be legal in the first place. But the fact that the older adult is their coach probably makes it even worse. Law enforcement is the person to contact about this. There is no guarantee of anonymity. While you can request that when you report it, and law enforcement would likely respect that, there are a ton of ways someone can infer or merely guess at who reported something. How likely it is that this minor and/or this adult could guess it was you is unknown. Though I'm not sure you should let that dissuade you. Okay, thanks. I guess I was hoping that I could just get a burner and send an anonymous tip or something. It's going to get rough if they figure out it was me. I don't think they would be able to get that just from the screenshots. I'm more worried about the cops telling someone. If it has to happen that way, I guess that's what happens. My rabbi offered to contact someone he trusts from the police department and sat with us while I gave a statement yesterday. I gave him a thumb drive with the screens. It's all stuff that would be easy for them to go verify themselves anyway with a warrant or something. I don't know what's going to happen, but it's out of my hands now. He also gave me a number to call for help if things go sideways and I don't feel safe. So now I just hunker down and try not to think about it. Update 2. Things blew up this weekend. I wasn't home when everything happened, so I missed most of the fireworks. But I've gotten the story through family. My dad got suspended from his job on Friday. The cops took him in. He's out now, but my grandparents told me that it's serious. Everyone in the family is all riled up, mostly at my dad. Apparently the word got out since he's a teacher and a coach, so it's a circus. My mom showed up to tell me what happened and take me to her place, but I told her I didn't want to go. My grandparents talked her down, so I'm staying with them. I go to a different school, but they decided to keep me home today. I'm supposed to talk to some people later this morning anyway, and go get some clothes and stuff from the house. I haven't heard from my dad. My other grandma, his mom, came over yesterday, and I feel really bad for her. This is the saddest I've seen her since Grandpa died. No one seems to know that I reported it. I don't know what happened with the girl, but I'm guessing she admitted stuff was happening. I hope she's okay. I don't know where things go from here, but I've told all my grandparents that I don't want to live with Mom. Living with Dad doesn't seem like an option right now, but I don't want to go there either. They said we would figure it out. I told my grandparents' mom's parents last weekend that I don't think she's being honest with them, and they believe me. The cop I talked to said that as long as I'm in a safe place with people who are looking out for me, it's not likely that anyone is going to make me go back to my parents without a lot of legal wrangling. So as long as my grandparents are okay with it, I should be okay. I've got a summer job in the works, so I'm just going to focus on that and lay low, I think. Save up everything I can. This whole thing is a mess, and I feel like I'm stuck in a nightmare a lot of the time. But I'm not sorry I found out the truth. OPS comment on our best of Redditor updates. Hi, I'm OP. Some of you people need to stop coming into my inbox or my posts to tell me I'm lying. I don't care what you believe, and I don't need to hear about it. I know big words because I read a lot. I take a lot of the free online courses on edX and other places. I was in spelling competitions for a while. I'm writing essays so I can get scholarships and trying to make my writing better. I write differently when I'm on my phone than on my computer. I think espionage and intelligence subjects are interesting. And there are words you see a lot when you read, like 30 books on WW2 and Cold War spies. You aren't the only people who think I'm weird because I use big words. Stop telling me I don't exist because I have a better vocabulary than you think I should have. Second story. My best friend admits she is cheating with my husband, but my husband denies everything. I don't know who to trust. I 31F have a deep suspicion that there is something weird going on between my husband 33M and my best friend Maria 30F. My husband feels I am just seeing things and is mad at me for not trusting him enough. Please tell me if what is going on is just in my head, or if you also find the situation from last weekend suspicious. Maria and I have been best friends since college. She has always been very outgoing, while I am more of an introvert. Maria was always a bit promiscuous and loved drama. She had a lot of boyfriends and hookups in college. She is also very beautiful, and I always felt invisible when I was around her. I have weight issues. I always felt overshadowed by her. I was always very shy, and my husband was the first person I ever dated. Maria always teased me that I had only been with one guy in my life. As we have grown older, Maria is still in a real, long-term relationship. I feel that things have reversed now, and she keeps on telling me how lucky I am to have such an ambitious and reliable husband by my side. Around 6 months ago, my husband came to me and told me that he felt Maria was trying to flirt with him. He does not like Maria, but he tolerates her for me. During one of the dinner parties, Maria was acting very flirty around my husband. She was just laughing extra loudly at all his jokes, complimenting his fitness, and touching him on the shoulders and arms. My husband told me that he felt uncomfortable with her behavior and asked me to talk to Maria. I was pissed off and talked to Maria. She got angry at me and said that she had known my husband for over a decade. He was like a brother to her. She felt my husband was trying to destroy our friendship because he did not like her. I felt she was genuine and let it go. Maria soon joined our gym because she wanted to take yoga classes with me. However, she spent more time in the weights room, where my husband is. Again, my husband made comments about how she is always half naked in the gym and asked him to spot her. Maria complained that my husband was being rude and unhelpful to her. I again took her side and told my husband to be helpful and nice to her, as she is my best friend. My husband said he would make more effort. I slowly started seeing them getting more and more friendly and working out together. I wanted to be cool, but I felt jealous. So now to what happened last weekend. Maria invited a bunch of her friends for a birthday party at her apartment. There were 7 guests there, including my husband and me. Maria kept pushing tequila shots on all of us. Eventually, most of us got drunk. Maria was sitting next to my husband and was being very flirty with him. But I could see my husband not reciprocating, so I didn't care. Maria insisted we stay back at her place, and my husband and I slept in the guest bedroom. The other 3 guests, who were her co-workers, 1 guy and 2 girls, crashed on the sofas in the living room. I was drunk, and the last thing I remember was my husband bringing me to the guest room. When I woke up in the middle of the night, I was alone in bed. I could hear some moaning noises from outside. I quickly started looking for my phone in the dark. In that process, I dropped something from the nightstand on the floor. The noises stopped, and I heard a door open and close outside. I quickly got up to see where my husband was. When I reached the hallway, I saw my husband, just in his jeans with no shirt on. I asked him where he was, and he said he went to the restroom and asked if I was okay. I said yes, and he came and slept next to me. He was sweaty. I asked him where his shirt was, and he said that the heater was too high, and he felt hot. His t-shirt was on a chair next to the bed. I lay down, but I was barely able to sleep after that. I got up early and went into Maria's room, and she was sleeping alone, naked. I told her we were taking off, and she got up to see us off. I kept this all to myself, and when we reached home and my husband went to take a shower, I immediately checked his phone. I could not find any messages between him and Maria. I spent the whole day thinking about it and finally confronted my husband regarding it at night. He was pretty angry at me and told me that he hates Maria and that the only reason he tolerates her is because of me. I told him about the moaning noises, and he said he also heard the same when he went to the restroom, but thought they were coming from the living room. He is still angry at me. I can accuse him of something so horrible, and he has told me that if I am really that insecure, I should cut off my friendship with Maria. He also told me that he was never going to be in the same room as Maria again. I have no idea what to do. On one hand, I know my husband would never cheat on me, but it's just impossible to get the doubts out of my head. I keep picturing my husband and Maria together in her bed. Am I the arsehole to confront my husband and accuse him of cheating just because of what I saw without any real proof? How do I know what happened? If I confront Maria and accuse her, she is also going to be equally mad at me. I don't know her coworkers' friends well enough to trust what they say. I just feel stupid for trying to push for friendship between my husband and Maria. Please help. Update. They are texting via Facebook Messenger. Ada has no consensus bot. And OP received mixed reactions based on the comments. Relevant comments. Veronica 19,920,2022. Maria isn't your best friend. I say that sincerely as someone else who had best friends my whole life who were similar to Maria. I had a best friend like this who was prettier, funnier, more outgoing, better with men, and everything else in college. My boyfriend also didn't like her. She also tried to flirt with him. I was also worried about this. I was wrong. My boyfriend didn't cheat on me. And it's unlikely your husband cheated on you with her if he dislikes her so much. Much more likely, his story is correct. He was hot and took his shirt off. Drinking makes you feel hot on top of having a heater on and sleeping. Listen, as someone who has been through this, put some distance between yourself and Maria. You don't have to cut her out 100%, but maybe take her down to about 20%. But we've been through so much together. Yes, I know. But what's even better than that is having friends who you aren't worried want to steal your husband. Judgment. Maria is an A. My husband is an NTA. You are to be determined. Take this as a chance to apologize and move on. If you don't, WBTA. OP. Thanks. Needless to say, I will increase our distance from Maria. I feel threatened by her, especially since I see her flirting with my husband, and I am not okay. She does the same thing with most other men, and hence, I always chalked her behavior to this being how she is. I hope what you are saying is true about my husband. I feel the fact that I just can't get it out of my head, and it's been almost 5 days since the incident, makes me very anxious. I have apologized to my husband, and he says it's okay, but I can see he is still angry at me. Legal Nebula 14797. Most of the comments I've read have gone in on Maria and discussed how she's not your friend. I agree, but I want to talk about the fact that you really need to be a better partner for your husband. He has expressed discomfort many times to you. You have flatly ignored his feelings and brushed them aside. You have even encouraged him to be close to someone he doesn't even like. Stop it, OP. This is wrong. If someone was constantly flirting with and harassing you, how would you like it if your love and partner told you to get over it and play nice? Respect your husband's decision to never go around Maria again. He said, I will never be in the same room as her again. Let that be the law of the land. It's not your place to try to force him to be around her, and then get mad when you can tell the vibes are off, which he's explicitly told you over and over. Do better, OP. Your husband is never seeing her again, and I don't know why you would want to either. Some friends don't stay in your life forever. This is done. Move on from her to try to save your marriage. Update. 1 month later. A lot happened during the last month, and my mental health is at its lowest due to the betrayals. However, I think I now know what happened that night. I am sorry for the long post. So, the day after my husband and I stayed at Maria's house for her birthday party, I was unable to shake the feeling that something had happened between them. I am not proud, but I checked my husband's phone and all his messaging apps. I only found a brief chat between my husband and Maria on Facebook Messenger. Maria thanked my husband for coming to her birthday party and for such a great night. She sent him a photo of them hugging at the end of the night after I was asleep. My husband told Maria that I suspected that something had happened between them and asked her to talk to me. Maria told him that she would talk to me. Maria called me the next day and told me that I was crazy and that she would never think of doing such a thing to me. She sounded convincing, but I just couldn't shake the gut feeling that something had happened. I told her why I suspected them, and she called me crazy and said that my head was making up stuff that did not exist. I also mentioned that I saw her photo with my husband after I was asleep, and she should have kept her distance from him. I decided to distance myself from her, as I no longer trusted her as a friend. We also changed the times we went to the gym so that we didn't run into her. After a week or so, she messaged my husband on Facebook Messenger that they should tell me the whole truth. My husband kept on asking her what she was talking about, but she kept on telling him that she felt guilty. My husband came to me and told me that Maria is sending messages to him, and he is not sure what she is inferring. He kept on assuring me that nothing happened between them that night. I told him that I read their secret chats on Facebook Messenger. He gaslighted me, calling me insecure and saying that Maria was trying to play with my head. I finally decided to go to Maria's house and ask her what was going on. Maria initially kept on saying that she did not want to talk about it. However, finally, she broke down and told me what happened. She told me that during the night of the birthday party, my husband kept staring at her. After they realized I was too drunk, he took me to the bedroom and again went back to the living room. At this point, he was sitting next to Maria and kept touching her legs playfully. Maria was also very drunk, and they decided to call it a night in 30 minutes. Maria said that my husband followed her to her room, and he started undressing her, and they were intimate together. She told me that she was too drunk to consent to anything, and felt like he was stealing her. She kept quiet to keep peace, but it was bugging her from inside. I asked her if she was sure, as she was too drunk that night, and she said that although she was drunk, she remembered all the details. I confronted my husband, but he still kept on telling me that what he was telling was the truth, and Maria never liked him and was playing me for a fool. He was so angry at me that he left the house and is currently living in a hotel nearby. He keeps on calling me and asking me to trust him, but I don't know how I can trust him now. I never expected him to do such a thing. Maria has also been trying to talk to me and asking me to be there to support her. However, I do not know if I can look at either one of them. I am just going to try to cope with the situation and plan to go and live with my parents for a few days until my husband and I agree about our future. I know you all thought I was crazy in the previous post, but I knew in my gut that something was wrong, and I never expected my life to suddenly come to this point. Relevant comments. Bands to Know Things 69. If you're looking for some honesty, have you noticed that your friend's version of the story just so happens to make your husband look like the bad guy and her completely innocent and the victim? After her message that they should come clean and that she feels bad, which one is it? Does she feel bad about what she did, or was she just a victim? It smells of bullshit. OP. The thing is, I don't know what to believe. On one hand, I trust my husband. However, my mind just won't let go of the image of them hooking up that night, and it haunts me like a nightmare. How would I even know who is telling the truth? I am just going mad at this point, trying to think of every small detail that I might be missing. I have told my husband I need some time, and he understands. However, he also asks how he can prove something that never happened. Mariposita 48. You are conveniently believing Maria over your husband again. As others have mentioned, it's odd that she'd thank him for a great night, but then claim to you that she was saw. It seems to me you'd rather believe the worst in your husband, truth be damned. Thank you for watching the video. If you are interested in listening to these kinds of stories, we've got more in store for you. Simply subscribe to our channel, hit the like button, and share it with your friends.